everyone, and thank you for joining tonight. I am Councilwoman Dr. Naya Glover, Board of the Fayetteville Mental Health Advisory Board, and we're coming to you all with our final webinar for 2025. I'm also joined by the Vice Chair, Ms. Tracy Riggs, and we're going to talk about thriving through the winter, brightening the season with seasonal depression and awareness. So winter mental health is often overlooked in Southern states. This conversation tonight is about prevention, not just treatment. So community awareness can actually reduce long-term impacts of mental health strains. Having those resources and knowing where to actually get those resources is a vital part of tonight's webinar. Ms. Ricks, would you like to say anything as far as transitioning to the next slide?
Good evening. I'm just glad to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Ritz, for being here. So tonight's agenda is understanding, of course, seasonal depression, why winter impacts mental health. We have a graph embedded in here to kind of show you where we are here in the city of Fayetteville as we have been collecting our data, so our collection data efforts and how we're kind of tracking symptomology right here in the city of Fayetteville. Looking at the symptoms and the risk factors and the risk population, treatment and self-care strategies, community approach, and Fayetteville's initiative, supporting loved ones in their time of need. And then finally, Ms. Ritz will start closing out on providing those resources. And we'll talk a little bit more again about our mental health hub and all the resources that are there for you all to take part in. So as we move through the winter season, many people experience changes in mood, energy, and overall well-being. Seasonal depression, also known as seasonal affective disorder, affects thousands each year, often without clear awareness of its cause. Today's presentation aims to increase understanding of SAD, share effective strategies for support, and highlight how Fayetteville can continue to lead in the mental health awareness. Together, we'll explore simple, practical ways to uplift our community and ensure one faces the winter months alone. So now, just looking at what is seasonal depression or ASD, as a form of depression, this follows a seasonal pattern. So kind of understanding whether or not you are experiencing symptoms of SAD, stress, depression, anxiety. So looking at how to understand or differentiate between the four that I've highlighted. And most common, this particular approach here or this particular symptomology is definitely common during late fall and during the winter time. So as we're coming into more of our winter season, we start seeing an uptick of our data, and then we'll start seeing a downward spiral going into February to actually March. So many people normalize symptoms and do not seek help because they think it's just depression that is actually linked to just winter or just being kind of closed out in activity and things of that nature. So seasonal depression exists on a spectrum. So looking at it from a mild to a severe spectrum is what we want to help you gauge, right? Early identification can significantly reduce these symptoms of severity. So why winter makes mental health kind of challenging for individuals? So of course there are some different factors, but these are the more common reasons. So the reducing sunlight affects mood regulation chemicals, shorter days and longer nights disrupt sleep, increased isolation during the colder months, and also again that spikes that inactivity in your actual life. So how do we become more active even during the colder times of the year is vital to sustaining or mitigating these different types of challenges, right? So Georgia still experienced meaningful daylight loss even without harsh winters. Biological changes, and we do see a gender difference here, but biological changes can occur before temperatures still cold. Social routines kind of shift, of course, during the winter time and affecting connection as well as motivation. So here's a graph kind of looking into seasonal depression, and we've been collecting data with our data efforts every time that we're out at the mental health awareness events. We have our citizens complete these surveys, and they're kind of helping us mark and determine where that need is. And we are seeing that uptick kind of take place in different areas, such as anxiety, depression, and typically loneliness during this particular time. So again, we're seeing that uptick, which is a normal pattern, typical pattern that takes place across the United States. But then we'll start seeing that downward spiral come once the warmer months come, and we can start getting out side of just a little bit more. Right. So over these last month, looking at it in August, 3%, we start seeing that increase there. And then of course that jump to 11% in December. So again, we are doing collection efforts, and you all doing those surveys or even going on to the Facebook page or going directly through our city website to our mental health page to complete that survey kind of helps us collect data and understand what we need to do in year two and how we need to start approaching the different symptomologies at that particular time. So I do want to thank everyone for actually doing our survey and helping us collect the data so that we can see what is actually needed from us so that we can ensure that we are doing our due diligence for you all. So common symptoms of seasonal depression, of course, low mood and lack of motivation, increased fatigue and oversleeping, difficulty concentrating, withdrawal from social activity. And some people start looking at this because we're coming towards the end of the year. We start looking at this more as burnout, maybe just tired, looking for that time to kind of, shut down just a little bit for the holidays and engage our families. But knowing again the differences of whether it's burnout or is it seasonal depression is actually vital. So like I stated, symptoms may be mistaken for burnout or stress. People may experience physical symptoms as well, headaches and things of that nature, before the emotional ones start to actually become more prevalent or known. Symptoms can quietly worsen if they're left unaddressed. So who's at risk? Is actually a great way for us as mental health clinicians to actually start targeting those individuals to kind of help them prior to and make them more aware or self-aware of the effects that actually impacts them. So individuals with a history, of course, of depression, on our mental health page, or our mental health hub, we actually have some assessments on there that you can actually go in and take for yourself. It's not to diagnose you, but it's to provide a gauge for you of where you are at this particular time of year, right? So you can go in and do your GAD-7, which is an anxiety assessment, or the PHQ-9, which is a depression assessment. And from there, if it shows that you have spiked, it'll then route you to some resources. Our mental health hub is not only for mental health challenges, but anything that induces stressors. So it does provide guidance to find a therapist, but also for food insecurity, housing insecurity, education, jobs. So it's a lot of different stressors that actually spike our emotionality. So definitely take a look at our actual hub. So also people living in northern or less sunnier climate are more at risk. Those experiencing chronic stress already is actually more at risk as well. And again, that gender prevalence that I highlighted at the top would be women. So seasonal depression is more common in women, and that is definitely linked to some hormonal influences, serotonin sensitivity, higher rate of depression just overall, helping seeking and reporting behaviors. But just kind of, we're going to go and dive more into why women actually spike more during this time than men. So women are more commonly linked to SAD due to a combination of biological, psychological, as well as social factors. Importantly, this reflects higher diagnosing and reporting rates, not necessarily, I would say, greater emotional weakness. So some key factors, like I just previously highlighted, would be hormonal influence. So there is a fluctuation in estrogen and progesterone, I'm sorry, after serotonin regulation, which plays a key role in mood, of course. So hormonal changes during different times too, such as menstruation, pregnancy, postpartum periods, perimenopause as well can increase vulnerability to mood disorders that includes seasonal depression. Serotonin sensitivity, research suggests that women may experience greater sensitivity here as well to seasonal changes in serotonin levels, which are influenced by reduced sunlight during winter months. And on another slide, I'll tell you how to kind of boost in that area on a more holistic, natural way. Higher rates of depression also overall have been shown during this particular time as well, when women are more diagnosed with depression at higher rates than men across lifespans, which increases the likelihood of seasonal subtypes such as seasonal depression. And that's because women seek help more, right? They reporting behaviors, therefore we can track that behavior. And I definitely see that with our tracking as well. Would you say, Ms. Ritz, when it comes to when we're reporting in our monthly meetings, we're seeing that more women are actually completing the actual surveys for the city. Would you agree?
Yes, I totally agree.
Yeah, so
Definitely more women. I don't know why, but
yeah.
I guess we're more in tune to ourselves, huh?
Right, right. So yeah, women are more likely to recognize their symptoms. Like you said, we're more in tune and we will definitely seek help and receive a diagnosis. So hence the reason, that's one reason why we see that uptick. And men are underreporting their symptoms and express them differently. So they may not look at it as, depression or anxiety. They may classify it as irritability. It could be linked to substance use or something of that nature, leading to the underdiagnosing of the male population. Social and caregiving roles have been linked to those spikes as well, especially during the holidays, right? So women often carry disproportionately the caregiving role. So emotional labor and household responsibilities, which can intensify winter stress as well as fatigue. Also, lastly, it's important to note that although women spike higher in this area, it does not mean that men don't experience a seasonal depression as well, right? So it's just that theirs is least likely to be recognized, or they're being unrecognized because they mask just a little bit differently. So awareness efforts should not only just include women, but both men and women, while recognizing differences in some of those risk patterns, right? So how seasonal depression impacts daily life. So when we're looking at seasonal depression, there are different areas, the biopsychosocial, when I'm working with my clients and I'm doing that first initial intake, I'm looking at every domain of your life, right? So of course we see some challenges, hence the reason why it can be mislabeled as burnout. You see some reduced productivity at work, and for our youth, we can see some reduced productivity in school as well. Also, decreased engagement in activities, strain on one's relationship, and then, of course, some disruption and low energy. Right. So mental health challenges can show up again in the absenteeism, that number can increase, and the disengagement of just your life as well. So it starts mirroring some of those symptoms, definitely of depression. Hence the reason why routing you to, if you're starting to see some of these symptoms showing up in your life currently, to definitely go take a look at that PHQ-9 scale that's on the website on our mental health hub. And then we also have embedded in that hub some great tools to kind of help you as well, self-care tools as well. So family, again, may feel strained without understanding what that underlying cause is or are, and untreated symptoms can lead to more serious mental health concerns as well. So more long-term impacts of depression if left untreated. Some evidence-based treatment approaches, we see light therapy is actually great. Here, however, starting the process early is more effective. So light therapy helps, but being able to identify is the most important. So identifying and triggering it early is vital. And then light therapy, as well as the combination or the partnering of counseling, can be used together to maximize outcome. Cognitive behavior therapy is used in almost every domain of symptomology or mental health challenges, but definitely works well here in this area as well. Medication, when appropriate, of course, by your psychiatrist or your medical doctor. But one holistic approach would be vitamin D supplements, because now we're lacking that sun, that outdoors enrichment that we actually get from going out hiking, walking, the social interactions, being outdoors. We're lacking that when the winter months come, because now we're becoming more closed in, it's getting cold and things of that nature. So having that supplement is actually a more holistic approach so that you can balance out those hormones, the serotonins and things of that nature that may start as taking a dip or a dive because it's lacking that vitamin support. So treatment plans should be, of course, individualized based off your clinician or whom you're seeing, and definitely culturally responsive and responsible. So being culturally competent is a vital part of this as well. So, Ms. Ritz, I'll let you take over here for self-care strategies that helps during the winter time.
Okay. Self-care strategies that help during winter. Establishing a consistent sleep routine. I know for me, especially when my kids were younger, it was very hard for me to come up with a consistent sleep routine. But I noticed that once I started the consistent routine, that my um, symptoms they became less. I experienced this for a long time. I wasn't aware of what it was actually called during that time, but it was very real. And I remember also that moving my body daily, even indoors, helped tremendously. So moving your body, I know a lot of times it's winter months and we don't want to move around, but it's important that we continue to move our bodies around, especially if you know that you're dealing with these any of these symptoms. Also creating indoor, bright um, with the indoor spaces, bright lighting. I had to make sure every day I would open up my blinds, even if the sun was not out. I would make sure some type of light was coming into my house. Also, a lot of my clients have been sharing with me about the light that you can order,
Mhm.
that you can just put it somewhere in your house to display that certain amount of brightness that we need, those of us who have dealt with these symptoms. And they said tremendous things for their mental health as far as creating a bright light in those indoor spaces. Also, practicing mindfulness or gratitude exercises. You guys, I cannot express how important it is when we're experiencing these symptoms to practice gratitude. And also, I have a gratitude journal that I write in every day. Oh my God, it's so you guys don't know, it's so important that we practice that gratitude. That when I'm feeling sad and I'm feeling low and it's winter days and I'm inside and the mind is telling me that, it's not going to get any better, then practicing gratitude. Just name three things a day that you're grateful for. It could be something as insignificant as I'm thankful for the heat in my home. I'm thankful for lights in my house. I'm grateful that I have a house. And then also with mindfulness for me, I take time to just be in that moment, don't let my mind go ahead, but stay in that moment. Just knowing that, hey, God got me, I got this, everything is going to be okay. I talk to myself a lot. I really believe in the CBT techniques as far as
Mhm.
reframing our thoughts. So once again, self-care strategies would include and can include establishing a consistent sleep routine. I know a lot of times, once again, as women, we get so busy and we're all over the place, but it's important that if you have any of these symptoms, that you create a consistent sleep routine, moving our bodies daily, even indoors. I am a walking queen, but in the winter months, I have a big challenge with being cold because it seems like once I become cold, I can't get warm. So I've just learned to layer up, I just layer up, put on as many layers as possible so I can move my body, then creating bright indoor light spaces inside where the lights can come on. You can also order some things. It's very inexpensive, light treatment, and then practicing mindfulness and gratitude. Combine them. Use all of the resources, all the tools that you have that's available. And it's really, really been helping me, you guys. I cannot express to you guys how much it's been helping me because every year I was dealing with these symptoms and I just was not aware of what it was.
Mhm.
And then when I started talking about it, I realized there were more women, especially women who are dealing with those symptoms and wasn't aware of them as well. Let's keep moving. Next slide.
Also, just to kind of highlight, those small consistent changes, like Ms. Ricks highlighted, are more effective than the dramatic ones. So you want to take the opportunity to make those small changes. And like she stated, staying in the here and now and positive self-talk are all great approaches. Self-care is not to indulge in it because you want to take those small consistent changes. It's more of a maintenance component, right? So community encouragement increases through follow-up and things of that nature. So getting in touch with your local government or just local community events are very vital too during this particular time.
Yes, thank you for helping and sharing that
Mhm.
information.
Awesome.
Community level approaches, public awareness campaigns, increase access to therapy resources. And I want to interject right here again
Mhm.
and stress you guys that there's so many resources that we have available out here, especially through our mental health hub.
Mhm.
So, avail yourself to the resources. So, increase access to therapy resources, support groups, and wellness workshops. I know that I love group therapy. And I
Mhm.
also have an empowerment club for women, especially for women, for that support that's necessary. So join a support group in wellness workshops. There's so many resources that we have available. Also, outdoor community events, even in colder months. Here in the city of Fayetteville, I thank God for our councilwoman and our city council, our mayor. We have a lot of free events that takes place throughout our
Mhm.
city. And so, if you're not in Fayetteville, find, something in your local area where you can get outdoors, even in those colder months. Don't isolate, because I know that I had a very big challenge with isolation during the winter months. And isolation can lead to devastation when we just, stay inside and refuse to go out and even
Mhm.
socialize with other people. We were built for connections, you guys. So please be aware of, if you're having these symptoms, of some of the information that we're giving you, that you can avail yourself to the resources and don't just come on and say, that was a great webinar, but use the tools, okay? Utilize all of these resources.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And definitely mental health does improve when community foster connection. That's the purpose of the mental health initiative that I started last year. Is vital that you all become more active in your environment. And if you feel uncomfortable in doing so, definitely reach out to us directly and we can definitely help integrate you into some different activities that we're actually doing on a soft launch. How about that? Because we do have, I know I work with a lot of individuals that have social anxiety, social uncomfortability, and sometimes you just need that person to help integrate you into some of these different types of events. So you can always start by also coming into our monthly board meetings that we have the first Tuesday of every month at 5:30, and just letting us know what is it that you are needing from us individually as well as just as a community as a whole. Miss Ritz?
How, how Fayetteville can continue leading. Promote year-round mental health education. And that's another thing about our city. And I'm so thankful for Dr. Glover and the vision she had for our mental health advisory board. But we do have year-round mental health education that's available.
Mhm.
Expand access points for counseling and crisis support. Partner with school, churches, and organizations. I know our church, we are really big with mental health and having activities and things that we make available to our citizens as well as our partners. Also, continue developing the mental health hub. Y'all, we have so many resources available through that mental health hub. Please avail yourself to checking it out, to the resources that we have available. Did you have anything to add, Dr. Glover?
Yes, I mean, not just looking if you need those resources, but I have had some great citizens reach out and let us know where some gaps are, where we can fill some gaps and say, okay, well, I think the hub is great, but I didn't see literature on this or guidance on that. So if you start to see any gaps, reach out to us directly that you feel that we need to ensure how we can continue to improve as a mental health board as well, things that need to be added on there. If you have learned things, all of this is for the betterment of our community as a whole.
Thank you. Supporting loved ones with seasonal depression. Of course, I can relate to these because I went through this, you guys. I had it very, very bad for years.
Mm.
I was not aware. I mean, I was not aware. So, encourage open conversations. When you see someone and you notice that they're looking overwhelmed, or maybe their facial expression is saying that they're not feeling their best, or maybe it's a friend that has gone missing. I like to say it that way. Encourage open conversation. Call, reach out, text, are you okay? Offer regular check-ins. And I love accountability once again. So offer, hey, you can check in with me. I'm here for you. Also, reduce stigma around seeking help. Back in my day, I'm a little bit older than some of you guys.
Mhm.
It was a stigma about mental health. I was talking to someone about that earlier. It was like, oh, you're really bad off if you seek help. But no, seeking help is a sign of strength and not weakness. So don't let anybody make you feel bad about reaching out to receive the help that you need, okay, or the help that you want. You know that there's something going on and you're like, I feel it. I can feel myself,
Mhm.
drifting off or whatever it might be, that feeling, that off feeling that you are having. So seek help. Please reach out, you guys. Also, share a local Fayetteville resources. Share the resources. So I'm very passionate about this subject because I had seasonal depression really, 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 really bad to the point to where I would lock up in a house. And during that time, I was homeschooling my kids and I didn't know what to do actually. And my husband, thank God for a good support system. He would go buy the groceries, and I literally would stay in the house until maybe like on a Sunday when I felt like I needed to go to church. I forced myself to church because I liked going to worship. But overall, I stayed in the house, you guys. And I mean, literally stayed in the house. So if you have these symptoms, don't be afraid, once again, to encourage open conversations. If you know someone who's dealing with that, or they're like just isolating themselves, offer yourself to be a regular accountability partner for check-ins and reduce the stigma around seeking help. Let them know it's okay to seek help. Once again, it's not a sign of weakness as some of us was taught, but it's actually a sign of strength. And then share local, Fayetteville, our resources with those around you who need that extra support during this time of the year.
Mhm.
Dr. Glover?
Just one key point on that first bullet, encouraging open conversation. Just remember, sometimes a person needs a listening ear. So validation is often more helpful than advice. So be
Mm,
that person to just listen. That I tell people a lot. My main training or what I pulled from my training is actively listening. So
yes.
sometimes people need to just know that you're there, that have that person to just listen to them. Also, I would say consistency in support matters, just like Ms. Rick highlighted that, just having that support system. So having that consistency in support matters more than perfection, right? Or just again, how many people you have. Just having that one person that is your go-to person is always a great thing. And encouraging help seeking is an act of caring and not control. So just remember those key points when you're interacting with a loved one, a friend, or anyone that you are seeing or identifying having some symptoms that may be some, as we highlighted at the top, going into the middle of this year, some of those red flags that you're kind of seeing.
And I want to interject and say
Sure.
this, that also when you talked about open conversations,
Mm-hmm.
just listening without judgment. And I wanted to say this to any believers, any Christians who's listening. Don't let anyone make you feel bad, like, oh, you're not praying enough, or you're not spiritual enough if you have these symptoms. So when you're listening to someone and they're having these, symptoms and they're feeling overwhelmed, don't listen also for judgment. I just wanted to say that also. Thank you, Dr. Glover.
No problem. Thank you. Okay, I'll go to the next slide. Give me 1 second.
Thank you. Resources. We have our Fayetteville Mental Health Advisory Board who's available. And also you can go to our site at FayetteVilleMentalHealthHub.org. Fayette Care Clinic, 770-719-4620. We also have FindHelp.org. Georgia Crisis and Access Line, 1-800-715-4225. NAMI Georgia Helpline, 1-800-950-6264. And then we have 988 Suicide and Crisis Hotline, 24/7 mental health support.
Okay, awesome. And again, just kind of highlighting here with resources like Ms. Ritz highlighted, please share these resources. These are just a snippet of what's on our mental health hub. So please make sure you take a look at the Fayetteville Mental Health .org hub. Awareness of resources, again, is a vital part of minimizing any stressors that or symptomology that you may be going through. Access also improves when information is centralized, and community trust increases utilization. So as we continue to work we have a lot of great things that are coming up in 2026. In our first board meeting for 2026, we're going to look at the roadmap and where we've come so far. We've done wonderfully over this first year, and we're already into our year two, but going further in the different types of things that we can start doing, like the wellness workshops and things of that nature. That's what's on the horizon coming up. So continue to look for some of the more in-person type of assistance by looking at this actual page here, or subscribing on our Facebook page for City of Fayetteville, or just going directly to the city website and clicking on the mental health page. You can get a lot of the information there. But all of these videos that we have completed over this year are on the Mental Health Hub. You can always go back, take a look at some of this information. As we move into next year, top of next year, we will also continue our webinars. These have been really, really great, and we're getting a lot of great feedback. And on those different surveys that you all are doing, you all are asking for some workshops and things of that nature. So those are some of the things that will be coming kind of moving forward, so that you all can ensure that you're having that support as things start to change, and as we start to continue to adjust to some of the climate that's going on currently. Ms. Ritz?
Okay, summary. This presentation reviews how winter affects mental health in Fayetteville, focusing on seasonal depression, SAD, and I call it SAD,
Mm-hmm.
and it highlights key symptoms, risk factors, and why reduced sunlight impacts mood and energy. The season outlines effective treatments, practical self-care strategies, and ways the community and the ways our community can support those struggling. It also emphasizes Fayetteville's role in promoting mental health awareness and connecting residents to local resources. The goal is to help our community stay informed, supported, and resilient during the winter seasons.
And just remember that seasonal depression is manageable, right, with the right support. That's the key to this. Having the right support, of course, the right um, resources available at your fingertips, right? Collective action as a group, as a city, will strengthen our community's resilience moving forward as we continue this initiative and building upon this initiative. And I want you to invite other individuals in when you're seeing this. If you can't make it, share the link with other individuals that you may see in your life will benefit from that particular topic that we're talking about that week, or that month. So continue to foster or build a dialogue as we continue to move forward in our initiative and start to come out to some of the meetings that we're actually having. Does anyone have any questions that are here with us right now? We'll pause here for some questions. Any questions for us or comments? I want to thank everyone for coming in tonight. Again, keep looking out for that text message. We will have our top January webinar as well. Thank you, Ms. Alina. Thank you. It was great. Thank you for joining. Continue to come in and let us know your thoughts or anything that you would like to share. This is an open free space for you to tell us what you're needing as well from your city. Together we can brighten a winter season. Even if there are challenges, you do have a government that cares and want you to reach out to us. You can reach out directly to me if you need any guidance. Please reach out to me at nglover@fayetteville-ga.gov. And we have a lot of intelligent individuals that are on our board as well that have mental health backgrounds. So we have the resources, we have their knowledge and their guidance as well. So awareness does lead to action. Action leads to hope. So continue to do what you're doing, coming in, joining. We are here for you. So thank you for supporting the Mental Health Advisory Board over this year. Everyone that's been coming in, looking and listening and sharing your advice when you come out to the meetings, please continue to do so. We are going to continue to build bigger and better for what you all are needing from us. So thank you all. Happy holidays to you all. And if you need us, I'm only an email away. Thank you so much and have a great night, you all.
Have a great night.
Have a great
Bye.
night.